So let's talk about a huge paradox happening right now. Tata Consultancy Services, or TCS, is one of the world's largest employers. We're talking over 600,000 people. And yet, they're betting their entire future not on hiring more people, but on building this absolutely colossal AI infrastructure. We're going to break down this incredible pivot from people to pure compute power. Okay, let's get right into it because really it all boils down to one single critical question. How does a company whose whole business model relies on armies of engineers, how do they survive and even thrive in a world where AI can suddenly do a huge chunk of their work? Let's find out. And this lays out the shift perfectly. For decades, the math for TCS was simple. More projects meant you had to hire more people. Their value was literally their workforce. But the future they're building now, it's pegged to something completely different. Raw brute force compute power. It's a fundamental switch from human capital to infrastructure capital. Now, to really get why they're making this massive bet, you have to understand that AI is two things at once for a company like TCS. It is without a doubt an existential threat, but it's also an almost unimaginably huge opportunity. So here's the threat in a nutshell. The old model is easy, right? Clients pay you for the time your developers spend on a project. But what happens when generative AI makes those same developers, say, 40 or 50% more productive? Well, the same project suddenly takes way fewer hours, which means less revenue. That's revenue deflation, and it's a massive headache for the whole industry. But, and this is a huge but, here's the other side of that coin. While that threat is very real, the opportunity is already here. TCS is already pulling in an annualized revenue of $2.3 billion just from AI-specific services. This isn't some guess about the future, it's happening right now. It shows that clients are ready to pay up for new high-value AI work. So you've got this threat on one side and this incredible prize on the other. How do you manage that balancing act? Well, they have a master plan, and it involves nothing less than a complete reinvention of what they are, from a provider of services to basically an essential utility for the entire AI economy. And the core of this whole plan is a concept they call infrastructure to intelligence. And, this is just a hugely ambitious goal. Think about it this way. TCS doesn't just want to build you an AI app anymore. They want to own everything that makes that app run. From the physical data centers with the crazy cooling systems all the way up the stack to the AI models themselves. They want to be the power plant, the power lines, and the light bulb for enterprise AI. And they're pulling this off with a pretty straightforward three-pronged strategy: build, partner, and acquire. They're building their own massive infrastructure, they're partnering with all the biggest names in the AI world, and they're getting ready to acquire any critical tech they need. For now, we're going to focus on the first two, because that's where all the action is. All right, so let's dig into that first pillar, build. The absolute centerpiece of their entire infrastructure play is this massive multi-billion-dollar initiative they call Hypervault. Now, this is not just some warehouse with a bunch of servers. No way. Hypervault is engineered specifically from the ground up for AI. See, training these huge AI models generates an insane amount of heat. So they're using advanced direct-to-chip liquid cooling just to keep the processors from, melting. And they're packing all that hardware in super tight to get maximum speed. This is the heavy-duty foundation you need to power an AI revolution. And the scale of this thing, it is just massive. The long-term plan is to build out 1 gigawatt of AI-ready data center capacity. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's literally enough electricity to power a small city. They're starting with 100 megawatts, but that 1 gigawatt target tells you everything you need to know about their long-term commitment. So you might be wondering, why build all of this in India? It comes down to this really critical idea called sovereign AI. All around the world, countries are creating really strict laws that say sensitive data, think healthcare, financial records, has to stay inside their own borders. So by building this gigantic AI factory in India, TCS is creating a secure, local, world-class option for any Indian company or government that wants to use powerful AI without sending their data overseas. But here's the thing. You just can't do this alone. And that brings us right to that second pillar of their strategy, partner. TCS is building a seriously powerful ecosystem by teaming up with the biggest names in the AI game. And this table really shows you how deep these partnerships go. Look, OpenAI isn't just a supplier. They're going to be a key tenant in these new hypervault data centers. With a chip giant like AMD, TCS is literally co-designing the server architecture, the Helios platform, that will be the blueprint for these AI factories. And with NVIDIA, the undisputed leader in AI chips, they're building specialized platforms for industry. TCS is weaving itself into every critical part of the AI supply chain. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, saying it himself. He explicitly says their goal is to build AI with India, for India, and in India. I mean, that quote is a massive vote of confidence. It validates the entire TCS strategy on a global stage. And you hear the exact same kind of language from AMD's CEO, Dr. Lisa Su. Notice the key phrase here: translate AI innovation into new growth opportunities. This isn't just a tech experiment. It's about creating real, measurable business value. And that's exactly what big enterprise clients want to hear. So, okay, this strategy is incredibly ambitious. The partnerships are top tier. But let's put on our analyst hat for a minute. The big question is, does all of this actually make financial sense? Is it a brilliant winning strategy or just a really, really expensive bet? Now, this slide is really interesting because it tells the whole story in just 2 bars. On one hand, yeah, you see that slight dip in full-year revenue. That's the AI deflation we talked about. It's real. But then look at the bar on the left. Their total contract value, that's all the new deals they signed, hit a staggering $40.7 billion. That's their defense. You win such a massive volume of work that it more than makes up for any price drop on individual projects. It's a defense led by pure scale. And this right here, this is the final and maybe the most crucial piece of the whole financial puzzle. Hypervault introduces a totally new way for them to make money. Instead of billing clients for employee hours, TCS will now bill them for access to compute power. For the first time in its history, this decouples revenue from headcount. It's a powerful and potentially very profitable hedge against those deflationary pressures on their classic business. So all of this brings us right back to our big question. Is TCS actually writing the new playbook for the entire IT services industry in the age of AI? Or is this massive, multi-billion-dollar investment just a very, very expensive insurance policy against the decline of their traditional business model? The jury is still out, but one thing is for sure. As TCS tries to pull off this colossal pivot, you can bet the entire tech world is watching.